Welcome to Career Journeys, a series of videos by the Consortium for Public Education. Here we explore the career experiences and pathways of professionals from a wide variety of careers to help you think about the skills you'll need and the paths you might take after high school.
Hi, I'm Debbie Pixton with the Consortium for Public Education. Today I'm interviewing Maximillian Dennison, Digital Inclusion Coordinator at the Mayor's Office and founder of Beta Builders. Thank you so much for joining us, Max.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Max, what do you do as the Digital Inclusion Coordinator?
The Digital Inclusion Coordinator is, when I originally got the position, I thought that it would be just programming. But the coolest thing about, one of the cool things about what I do is it's actually a mixture of everything that I've learned. So much of what I learned in political science about government, legislation, like much of the stuff that we have to do has to go through a law department. It's not just programming, but everything is a mixture. So on my day-to-day, we're working on curriculum. We're also actually physically in the buildings teaching kids the code. My position is three things: actually engaging in curriculum and teaching, working with community organizations, and so part of it is reaching out to universities like CMU, Pitt, companies like Google, Uber, building relationships and on-ramps for those kids that we service. And then the third part is actually the reconfiguration and the construction of the building.
Can you tell me kind of the vision for Beta Builders?
The vision for Beta Builders is intertwined, and me personally and my belief, to what we're doing at the city. The goal is to create an ecosystem in which kids who may be born in a community that doesn't necessarily have access to high-level tech, or maybe there's some community that still don't have Wi-Fi, or the digital literacy is very low. They don't have access to computers. We would like to make tech accessible and exposure to tech convenient. So if you're a kid that lives in the Hill District, even though, and I have these conversations regularly, even though the University of Pittsburgh and CMU is 15 minutes, 30 minutes walking from you, the chances of you actually walking into the University of Pittsburgh at the age of 14 is not really going to happen, right? So what if you can walk to Ammons, where you regularly frequent with your friends and play basketball, and there were university people there who could talk to you about programming, or if there were programmers from Google there who could actually help you build an application you were thinking about. So we want to bring the high-level tech, which we have plenty of it in the city of Pittsburgh right now. There's plenty of startups, plenty of tech. We want to put that in a place where it's convenient, and in a space where it's comfortable for the students, right? So it's easy for us as adults, to walk into a building and say, hey, I want to speak to somebody about this. But for kids, that's not necessarily going to happen. And we know that exposure equals opportunity.
Max, as you've transitioned into the tech industry, what has surprised you?
I think one of the biggest things that has surprised me is the lack of communication. Because on both sides, if you go to a lot of these meetings or meetups, there are tech people who say they're interested, and I think you tapped on it a bit with workforce development and finding the next talent, finding the next person with great ideas. And then on the other side, you talk in the nonprofit sector, and they're like, hey, how do we get the kids to these spaces?
Max, if I'm in high school and I'm thinking about a career in tech, what questions should I ask myself to help me know if this might be a good fit for me?
First thing I ask the kids is, how much money do you want to make? What would be a good number? And you always get interesting, depending on how old the kids are, you always get interesting answers. Like some will say $1 million. I want $1 million a month. Some will say I want $100,000 a week. You get really funny, and you'll have the interaction between the kids, and the friends will be like, So we start there, and then we actually have them Google how much you make with different coding languages. So I say, okay, I want you guys to do a Google search. I want you to Google how much does a computer programmer make? And if you Google that, a number of languages will come up, C++, C#, Ruby, and each of them will be attached to a number. So some kids will be like, oh, I'm doing C++, they make 86,000. And somebody else may say, oh, I'm doing SQL, they do 124,000, that's more than enough. So when we ask them that, we kind of get a base. So I say, okay, you want to make 124,000, here's the things I need you to work on, right? So we're going to double down on math, geometry, algebra, science, art, design. Because essentially programming, to make it simple for them and simple for anybody else that's listening, it comes down to two things really: front end and back end. You always hear these words in tech. Front end is what you see on the screen. Very simply, how does Facebook look? Is it aesthetically beautiful? Is it pretty? Is it simple? And then there's back end, algorithms, math equations. So if you're more an art person, drawing, visual, you like to see spacing, colors, let's work on your front end design. And if you're more mathematically inclined, strong at figuring out problem solving, let's work on your back end design. And if you just want to be like a Michael Jordan, let's learn both. Another problem that we have found is that kids may know what they want to do, but they don't know specifically what those courses are called. What's the name of the degree? Do you want to be a computer engineer, or do you want to be just those simple differences in words can confuse kids into what degree they want to go into. So we try to simplify it and lay it all out. People want to see beautiful things to make things to make it very simple. People, if you read Steve Jobs' autobiography, he talks about how he wanted the iPhone to be beautiful, to people to actually look at it, and it kind of changed my thought process and programming myself, because I never thought about it like that. It was just like, we're computer guys, let's just keep working on the computer. But I would tell kids all of those things. If you want to be a front end designer, draw, art, paint, any of those things that read, any things that can spark ideas, creativity, and be very consistent with your math. Math is important.
What's one piece of advice you would give to students who are aspiring to pursue a career in tech?
It's it's going to be tough to hear this, students, but as much as you can, take school serious. I know every adult in your life is telling you this. They told me the same thing. But, absolutely enjoy your youth, enjoy your childhood, enjoy athletics, enjoy, good times with your friends. But, try to be very serious. When it's time to study, be very serious about study. And, open yourself up. There's so much information on YouTube and Google. Open yourself up to all of these different avenues. Read a lot of biographies about different people in programming. And also, look for mentors. That was the biggest thing, I think, that helped catapult me to the next level. If you can actually, and if you don't know anybody, contact me at the city. We have plenty of programmers. We're building just plenty of organizations, All-Star Code, Black Tech Nation. There are plenty of organizations now that are building up their ecosystems to be able to provide mentoring and shadowing, so you can actually get those experiences. So if you're interested in tech, it's never too early to start emailing. I'm sure if you're in high school now, everybody has an email. Email Google, email Uber. Tell them you're interested. Tell them you want to program. Tell them you think you want to program. Are there any programs that they can sign up for? And just get as much experience as possible.
Max, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
For more information or to learn about other careers in the Career Journey series, visit our website and check back soon for our next installment. Thanks!